The Nemesis mini-constellation will cause the coming Planet X tribulation. Nemesis is a brown dwarf star, a smaller companion to Sol, our Sun. This is how Sol and Nemesis appeared in 2024. It is the first of two critical years. 2024 is the year Nemesis achieves perihelion, its closest distance to the Sun. 2030 is the next critical year because this is when the pole shift will occur. Humanity will survive this flyby. But what about the next flyby? The next will be a planet killer, which will occur in approximately 3,600 lunar years, or sooner. In the meantime, we need to survive this pole shift. With that in mind, would you want to survive here for 2 or more years? Or on the other hand, you and your loved ones survive by enjoying a Freedom Fort pioneer community lifestyle. So let's see what that entails. On March 3, 2023, President Donald Trump proposed building 10 new Freedom Cities on unused federal lands in various regions of the nation's interior.
Almost 1/3 of the landmass of the United States is owned by the federal government, with just a very, very small portion of that land, just a fraction, 1/2 of 1%. Would you believe that? We should hold a contest to charter up to 10 new cities and award them to the best proposals for development. In other words, we'll actually build new cities in our country again. These freedom cities will reopen the frontier, reignite American imagination, and give hundreds of thousands of young people and other people, all hardworking families, a new shot at home ownership and, in fact, the American dream.
These freedom cities will reopen the frontier is the key phrase for the Freedom Fort concept. Freedom Forts will become technological and cultural launch pads for bold American pioneers. But will modern Americans accept this lifestyle commitment? Yes, and you will see why. But first, a brief word. I'm Marshall Masters, author and publisher of Win-Win Survival Handbook, All Hazard Safety, and Future Space Colonization. This book guides you through the development process with detailed instructions for designing, building, and shielding them for self-sufficiency, survival, and future colonization. The Win-Win Survival Mission is about all hazard safety and future space colonization. Whether you build here on Earth or on Mars, the most reliable structure made by man is the concrete dome. Domes are the strongest and most beautiful structures made by man. The Pantheon in Rome has survived the test of time because it was not built with steel reinforcement. Neither is a Win-Win concrete dome, which is why it is so strong. It will last 1,000 years or more. For example, a modern concrete dome with conventional steel reinforcement can survive a direct hit by an F5 tornado or a magnitude 9.0 earthquake. For utmost safety, domes in a Freedom Fort Win-Win community are built on vertical land with a slope of 15 degrees to 30 degrees. The preferred conditions call for soft earth with sedimentary rock over solid bedrock. A considerable advantage of concrete domes is that they are modular and highly flexible with any number of configurations. Concrete domes can also be configured with a caterpillar design, The interiors can be a single open bay or divided by airlocks for a highly controlled environment. Using concrete domes and caterpillars, every community can have rapidly scalable, all-season underground farming with year-round continuous harvesting. With the win-win strategy, a community must produce 10 times as much food as it needs. In times of good, this will be a revenue source, and when things go sideways, it can now be used to help support local charities and food banks. For those ready for a permanent lifestyle change, the Win-Win Lifestyle mission is to survive, thrive, and prosper. To learn more about my books and to read my articles, please visit yowza.com. That's YOWUSA.com or marshallmasters.com. Now, let's return to the question: will people be ready to commit to a Freedom Fort win-win pioneer lifestyle? President Trump set a challenge for the nation during his speech at Mount Rushmore on July 4, 2020. He said, "We will plant the American flag on Mars. The subsequent goal will naturally be to establish a civilian colony there." America can do this because it has a rich pioneering heritage of dauntless families migrating to the West as the nation grew. Later, European families migrated westward to America for the promise of a better future, and their children and grandchildren will still share their hope for the future. But what will their children do? They will embrace hope for the future through future space colonization as they venture off-world to new Earths. American pioneers and others will open the frontier for a magnificent Star Trek future thanks to Freedom Forts. And Trump's next challenge is even more daring. In March 2023, President Trump proposed 10 futuristic Freedom Cities, featuring Jetson-like flying cars. These new cities will be chartered on unused federal lands in the country's center. One goal is to attract young families to these cities with the promise of a better life. Trump's statement, "These Freedom Cities will reopen the frontier," offers a bold vision and a challenge for the future. Here is where Freedom Forts with win-win pioneer communities can help reopen the frontier by those answering the call to draw upon our national heritage and to reawaken a noble sense of destiny. As America expanded westward, frontier forts were crucial in this effort. The military used these frontier forts much like the forward operating bases presently used by our military. Simple and durable, they did the job and opened the way for civilians, and boy did they come. Families sold their farms, purchased wagons and livestock, and made the long, arduous trek westward. When the going was hard, they leaned into it and struggled on. It was do or die. For all these reasons, America is rich with a pioneering heritage. And why is this? Because Americans, those who love America, are dreamers. We always dream about the future, and this is where win-win pioneer communities could play a vital role in President Trump's Freedom Cities vision for the future. So what is that? Freedom Forts are about families helping families to survive, and the promise of a Star Trek future. To learn more, please check out our other Planet X FAQs and visit our website at yowza.com. That's YOWUSA.com. This is Marshall, and I'll catch you on the backside.